Commander Tobler had always assumed he'd seen the worst the galaxy could offer. He'd walked on burnt soil during the Pollinate genocides, breathed poison air on Estor 8, and once survived an asteroid cluster storm with nothing but a bent hull and a pilot too stubborn to die. So when he was handed command of the GUV Breaking Dawn, he thought the worst was behind him. That was his first mistake. It hadn't even been 6 months since the Breaking Dawn launched, its fold core drive still considered theoretical by some backwater planets. It wasn't just fast, it bent space around itself, riding shockwaves through space-time like a bullet in a gravity well. Even hyperspace lanes, the staple of galactic infrastructure, couldn't match it. It made jump gates obsolete. The Fold Core, a miniature Big Bang in a bottle, was the crown jewel of the Galactic Union. And now it was headed into the one place no jump gate had ever worked, the Keebler Void. The void wasn't empty. If anything, it was too full. Unstable stars poured radiation into space. Gravity fluctuated, shields failed, even the high-grade kind. For centuries, it had been the Bermuda Triangle of the galaxy. Drones sent in never came back, probes burned out or lost signal. But new tech, photon scans, macro telescopes, and now the Breaking Dawn, gave the Union its first real shot at exploring it. And Tobler? He got the assignment because he came in second place in the Deep Space Command competition. The first place winner was already halfway to another galaxy. Tobler got the Void. He wasn't alone. The crew were veterans, every one of them a survivor of something. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, and bureaucrats. Union standard issue teams peppered with hardened professionals. They adjusted to the ship fast. Too fast, maybe. Even Tobler found himself walking its sleek corridors like they were old friends. It didn't feel like 3 months aboard. It felt like home. Still, morale was thinning. The Void didn't offer much to look at, just rocks, gas giants, and dead systems. For all the hype, it was shaping up to be just another stretch of nowhere. "I've got to say," Tobler muttered during one of the crew's routine meetings, "this is boring." Dr. Bauskyle nearly dropped his tablet. "Boring? Commander, the data we've been collecting is unprecedented. The photonic scatter. I don't care about numbers or scatter or whatever fancy physics you're working with," Tobler cut in. "I came to find something alive, and all we've found are dead rocks and space static. Hell, I can't even call my wife," Corporal Yorn chimed in with a groan. "Tell me about it. I haven't seen either of my husbands in weeks. Bet they're living off junk food and protein paste. They wouldn't know a vegetable if I threw it at them." "Yun," muttered Myers, rubbing his eyes. "You gotta stop reminding us your love life is functional. I'm single. Divorced, actually. My kids hate me. I could be hitting clubs on Talaris right now, but... No! Void duty. Great." Counselor Namble, usually the calm one, cleared his throat. "Let's not unravel. 1 week until our monthly report. Once that's out, we'll get comms access and maybe even some downtime." The conversation died as quickly as it flared. Then Tobler's voice cracked across the bridge like gunfire. "All stop!" The ship lurched, a simulated response programmed to mimic deceleration. No real movement occurred. Inertia dampeners handled all of it. But the lurch kept instincts sharp, a throwback to older, less stable ships. Everyone braced, Every face turned to the commander. "Report," Tobler said, eyes narrowing. Dr. Gerard's voice came through the intercom. It was always soft, like he hadn't quite adjusted to speaking aloud. "Commander, we have something. Third planet in the next system. Water, massive quantities, strong atmospheric readings. We've flagged it for possible habitability. Initial scans suggest survivable oxygen levels above 95%. Doctor," Tobler said flatly, "you better not be teasing me." "I wouldn't dream of it. There's a vapor cover occluding most direct visuals, but the data's solid." Tobler turned to the bridge crew. "You heard the man. We've got a remarkable world. Might as well pretend it's shore leave after we get closer scans." A cheer erupted. Even the eggheads smiled. Within the hour, the breaking dawn had changed course. The fold core didn't slow down for curiosity. It punched through the void like a spear, and its scanners didn't stop working just because the ship was mid-jump. A marvel, really. Tobler still didn't understand how it all worked, but as long as the damn thing didn't explode, he didn't need to. They dropped into orbit an hour later, just above the world's frozen atmosphere. Hope turned to confusion. Confusion to disappointment. The planet was covered in ice, all of it. No green, no water in motion, just a white sphere in the dark. Tobler stood, staring at the feed from the forward camera. "Doctor, you said water." "We detected high reflectivity. Liquid water and ice aren't easy to distinguish from this distance, especially under that vapor cloud. It was a reasonable assumption." Tobler didn't respond. He just sank into his chair. "Run your scans. When you're done, let me know. We'll move on." Hours passed. The crew wandered. Morale dipped again. The ice world wasn't dangerous. It was just cold. Then the intercom flared to life. "Commander," Gerard's voice rang out. "That planet has life." Tobler froze. "I repeat, not theoretical, not microbial. Life. Sapient. We're detecting unnatural heat sources, too concentrated and too structured to be geological. We're talking refined metal. Buildings. A city. You're sure?" "Confirmed. Despite the superstorm obscuring most of the surface, the signal filtering is working. And Commander, this isn't some tribal village. This is a city. Large scale. Engineered." Tobler didn't answer for a while. He stared through the viewport at the lifeless white hellscape below. It didn't look like a place that could build anything. Certainly not cities. "I don't believe it," he finally said. Gerard didn't pause. "You should. The planet is a death world, Commander, and it just became the most important discovery in Union history." Tobler rubbed his temples. He had wanted life. Now he had something worse. He had a mystery. The grand arena drifted like a monument to violence, clinging to the dark side of a cratered asteroid, orbiting the Imperium's capital world like a parasite with purpose. It had seen trillions of deaths, each one sold to an audience too hungry to care. Beasts, criminals, entire species reduced to blood sport. But none of that mattered now. Today, the impossible had happened. A human had been captured. The news had spread like a solar flare, from the gutter stations of the outer reaches to the chandelier-lit towers of the core. People whispered it like a holy curse, a human. For the arena, no one ever caught a human. They were ghosts, stories. Soldiers spoke of them like myths that left craters, rumors of electric minds, faster than sound, stronger than logic. And now a slaver named Oat, lazy, fat-fingered, and perpetually greasy, had one in his ship's hold. He didn't even know how it happened. One moment he was rounding up some moss-skinned tribal fighters, the kind that put on a good show in the pits. Then this human appeared, pale, young, eyes heavy like gravestones, and surrendered without a word, just stood there, hands loose, like he was waiting. Oat wasn't about to argue. He chained him, threw a gag on his mouth, and hit the throttle. By the time he reached the arena's port, a crowd was already waiting. "What the hell?" he muttered, stepping down the ramp and blinking into the chaos. The docks were packed, slavers, aristocrats, mercenaries, and Imperium officials, all clawing for a glimpse. Shouts echoed from every side. "Is it real? Let me see it. Move, move." Two serpent-like functionaries from the Imperium approached, black robes sweeping the deck like shadows with a face. "You are Oat?" one hissed. He nodded, suspicious. "Yeah. Who's asking?" "We are the voice of the Imperium," the other said. "And the human is not yours anymore." Oat took a half-step back. "Like hell he ain't." "You will be compensated," the first replied, handsomely. "But protocol demands he be examined, confirmed, before the main event." Behind them, soldiers in plated armor formed up. Heavy rifles, full gear, a clear message: cooperate or vanish. Oat clenched his jaw, rubbed his hands on his vest. All right. Just keep your distance." He turned to the bay door and placed a thick hand on the lever. The hatch hissed open with a hydraulic sigh. Every voice around them fell to a whisper. The human was still there, unmoved, medium build, dirty blonde hair, simple clothing now dirtied from days of captivity. His hands and feet were still bound, mouth still gagged, but his eyes were wide open, watching, not blinking, not struggling, just watching. Oat hesitated. Then, perhaps out of bravado or guilt, he cut the bindings on the man's ankles. "Let's see if you walk, buddy." Then, after a pause, he reached out and cut the gag from his mouth, too. The human didn't speak, just stared at him, expression unreadable. A second passed, then he stood. The motion was instant, one smooth movement. No effort, no stumble, just up, like a machine unfolding. Even the snakes flinched. "This way," one whispered. "Dr. Vames is waiting." They marched through the corridors of the pits, the human at the center of a squad of Imperium guards, silent and still, walking with the kind of stillness that made every step louder. Creatures leaned from cells to look. Some laughed, others backed away without knowing why. Dr. Vames had seen the worst the arena had to offer: mangled beasts, cybernetic freaks, bioweapons dressed like men. But when they brought in the human, something shifted. He didn't struggle on the table, didn't resist the scans, just sat there, letting Vames check him. different, the doctor mumbled, reading vital signs that didn't make sense. I know, the human replied. Vames froze. He hadn't expected a response. The voice was calm, slow, almost sad. You? No, the human nodded. I know what I am, and I know what you're about to do. Vames looked at the door. They want to put you in the arena. I know. Do you even care? I care, the human said, but it's not about me. Then the door opened and Malith walked in. The arena's showrunner, covered in fine fur, dressed like nobility, eyes like sharpened iron. He grinned when he saw the human. So this is it, a human, finally. He looked to Vames. Is it confirmed? The doctor hesitated, then nodded. There's no doubt. He's human. Malith's grin stretched further. Then the Imperium is about to make history. And just like that, the human was cleared for the fight. The grand arena roared like a beast. Every seat was packed. Stars hung overhead like blinking spectators, and screens pulsed with the same message in every language. Today, a human in the arena. The princess of the fourth bloodline herself had come, draped in jewels, skin sagging from centuries of preserved age. She sat high in her ceremonial box as Malith stood before the crowd. Citizens of the Imperium, he howled into the amplifier. You have waited. You have doubted. But today the rumors are truth. Today we give you a human. The crowd screamed as spotlights beamed down. In the center of the arena, the floor cracked open, and there, standing alone in the dust, was the man they called Adam. No chains, no armor, just a small plasma pistol in one hand. He said nothing, didn't even acknowledge the cheers. Malith raised his arms. Let us see what this creature is made of. The floor shifted, walls rose, angular terrain forming a kill zone maze. From the darkness, monsters spilled out. Genetic nightmares born to kill. Fangs, spikes, speed. The human sat down, just sat cross-legged, eyes closed. Confusion rippled through the crowd. What was he doing? The first beast saw him, 6 legs, a double-jawed snarl, and charged. The crowd held its breath. Then blackout. Every light in the arena snapped off. Panic, screams. Then silence. When the lights returned, every beast was dead. Perfect kill shots. No movement, no struggle, no sound. And the human, gone from the center. A gasp went up as a camera caught him, perched on a wall near the royal box, staring up, not at the crowd, at them. He raised a hand, motioned for silence. Let me speak, he said, and the Imperium listened. I don't want to do this, Adam said, voice projected over the arena's systems. But a forest only grows after the fire. This place, this empire is diseased. Malith jumped to his mic. You're not done yet, human. You're right, Adam said softly. I'm not. He walked toward the barrier, the shield that protected the royal box. Reached out, touched it. It died, just flickered out. My name is Adam. He stepped through. And the Imperium learned in that moment why you don't put a human in a cage. Not even once. Smoke drifted through the ruined balconies of the grand arena, rising like a ghost above the carnage. The holy box lay shattered, Shards of obsidian flooring jutted from bloodied stone. Royal guards, once proud and glistening in black chrome, now slumped against walls, some headless, others twitching in the dying grip of their last breath. And there stood Adam, the last man upright, the last human. The princess's body had fallen like wet cloth, her jeweled skull cracked open in a final spray of sapphire blue blood. Her corpse sprawled gracelessly, and no one dared move to help her. Across from her, Malith knelt, quivering, the showrunner of the greatest blood sport in the galaxy, once draped in riches and arrogance, now stripped down to raw disbelief. The barrel of Adam's pistol still smoked. The silence that followed was loud, terrifyingly loud. "You know I have to kill you too," Adam said, his voice quiet, measured. Malith choked on the stillness, voice small, broken. "What have you done?" "I started something." He stepped closer, boots thudding against the once sacred floor, now red with royal blood. "The galaxy's sick," Adam continued. "You dress death up in lights. You turn pain into ceremony, and you cheer for it like it's sport, like it's entertainment. But today you watched something else. You watched a spark." Malith sobbed, not from pain, but from understanding. Somewhere inside him, beneath the fear and the power that had always cushioned his life, he knew this moment would never be undone. The Empire would feel this forever. "She was a royal," he whispered, voice shaking. "One of many," Adam replied gently, "but not the last." Above them, the asteroid's surface pulsed with the neon ghosts of a dying broadcast. Signal drones, still blinking, tried to restore the show. They couldn't. The feed was hijacked. Adam's face, drenched in sweat and ash, was now being seen on screens across the galaxy. He turned to the camera, his voice now broadcast to 1,000 worlds. "I'm not alone. I never was. You think we're myths. You think you killed us off. But we're still here, hiding in the cracks of your perfect cities, beneath your spires, in your factories, in your gutters, in your data feeds." He stepped away from Malith, who had curled in on himself, muttering prayers to a god that had never cared. Adam holstered his pistol. "We're human," he said, "and we don't run forever." Far above the arena, 3 small ships broke from the stars, low-tech, rickety, and fast. They bore no emblems, no identification, but they were coming in fast and they didn't slow for clearance. The arena's orbital defenses had gone silent minutes ago. Sabotaged, they were human ships. The Imperium's last bastion of confidence cracked right there. The broadcast panned out. Adam standing over the Empire's first murdered royal in half a millennia. Guards dead, cameras shattered, lights failing, sirens silent. The crowd had long since fled, but their absence spoke louder than their screams. Malith coughed blood. "You think you can win? There are billions of us. Do you know what you've just done?" Adam looked down at him. "I didn't come here to win," he said. "I came here to light the fire." A beat, a breath. "Everything burns from here." He turned and walked out of frame. The camera hung on the image. One lone figure walking down the broken stairs of the grand arena, back straight, head high. The sparks of rebellion clung to his shoulders like embers in a storm, and across the galaxy others watched, in slums and academies, in quiet bunkers and slave ships, in noble estates and stolen shuttles. Something stirred. Somewhere a tired worker looked up from their machine and whispered a name. Adam. Elsewhere, a hidden rebel stared at the screen and tightened her grip on a pulse rifle. A child in a mining camp watched the man's face and saw the shape of something they'd never dared dream before. Hope. And far away, on the bridge of the breaking dawn, Commander Tobler watched the silent footage. He stood in the observation bay, alone. "That's them," he said, breathless. "That's the species living on the Deathworld." A moment passed. Then he turned to the communications console. "Doctor." "Gerard," he said, voice low, firm, alive. "I want a full surface team. We're going down there. We're going to meet them." A pause. "And this time we don't land with guns drawn. We go in as guests." Outside the viewport, the Deathworld spun on its frozen axis, cloaked in storms and secrets. And at its heart, the spark still burned, not a fire, not yet. But it would be. It would be.